I think there's this picture when you say housewife, homemaker that pops into people's heads and they think of like a 1950s housewife who has just put the dinner in the oven and has cleaned the house and that's all she's done today. Hello and welcome back to my channel, That Void-Filled Home, your source for all things homemaking. Today I wanted to discuss 5 myths of being a homemaker. I feel like homemakers get a bad rep today within modern society. There's a lot of stigmas, there's a lot of misconceptions about being a homemaker, and I would like to dispel some of those myths. Myth number 1 is that you cannot bring in an income to be a homemaker. This is so ridiculous. There's this idea that tends to float around the traditional homemaking community that if you make money outside of the home, or if you even make money from within the home, then you're not a true homemaker. That it somehow disqualifies you from the role of being a homemaker, of being a housewife, and that's just not true. Traditionally, the role of women has been within the home, but it has not just been staying in the home. Women have always sold goods outside of the home. They've always worked within their homes and produced products and sold products out of their homes. They've always offered services. That's just, it's ridiculous to say that if you somehow bring in monetary value or income to your family, then it disqualifies you completely from being a homemaker. I am a Christian, and as a Christian wife, my job is to be my husband's helpmeet. If my husband, for whatever reason, would need me to bring in a financial income, I would do it because that is me submitting to my husband. There's a lot of different reasons that you may want to make money. It could be for financial reasons. It could be because you want to supplement income within your family, or it could just be, it's an extra cash throughout the month that you can just use for fun things, use for kids, use for curriculum if you homeschool, etc. I think it's wrong to tell other women that you can't make money at all. It disqualifies you. You are not a homemaker, you're not a traditional wife, you're not a housewife if you make money. That's ridiculous. I wanted to add that I think women can work outside of the home. I don't think there's anything wrong with women working outside of the home. There tends to be this idea within like the homemaking community that if you make money outside of the home, if you have a career, you're less than someone who stays home, and that's just not the case. And you can be a homemaker and have a full-time job. There's nothing wrong with that. And that kind of segues into number 2, that if you stay home, solely staying home, it's not a real job. The irony of arguing that being a homemaker is not a real job is that if you were to outsource the same type of work that a homemaker does, it's considered a real job. And what our society does is that if you don't have an income, if you don't have like a monetary gain to what you're doing, then a lot of times there's not much value to that. I would also argue that people who say homemaking is not a real job have never been in the position of managing and running a household, because anyone who manages and runs a household will tell you that homemaking is a lot of work. The work is never ending, and it is not like a 9-to-5 job where you can just clock out when you want to. There's always something to be done. And if you've been a homeowner, there's always something around the house that needs fixed. Myth number 3 is that homemakers are lazy, that they lack ambition, that they are a leech onto society. I think there's this picture when you say housewife, homemaker that pops into people's heads and they think of like a 1950s housewife who has just put the dinner in the oven and has cleaned the house and that's all she's done today, and she's looking pretty and she's looking nice, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I do that. There's a stigma that homemakers are lazy, that they lack ambition, that they're unintelligent, that they just stay home so they can sit pretty and have a man look after them, and that's just not true. To run a home efficiently, laziness cannot even be within your vocabulary. I've never met a homemaker who runs a beautiful, amazing household and she was lazy, that she sat there and did nothing all day, that she sat there on the couch and watched Real Housewives eating her bonbons. You can't be lazy to be a homemaker. They just don't go together. This idea that you lack ambition because you stay home, I don't think a career is for everyone. I don't think college is for everyone. I went to college, I was in a really high competitive major. It really just wasn't my thing. And that's fine. I want a slower lifestyle. I want a soft lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just different people want different things. Myth number 4 is that staying home lacks stimulation. I get asked quite frequently, how are you not bored all day? What do you do all day? And managing a home requires constant problem solving and constant decision making. I think this offers homemakers plenty of room for growth and stimulation. You can always be learning. I am such an advocate for lifelong learning. I don't think you ever stop learning. There's always something that you can be learning. There's so many things within this world you'll never learn because there's just not enough time in your lifetime to learn them. I personally love audiobooks. I absolutely love Canon Press. If you don't know Canon Press, go check them out. But I listen to theology books all day. I listen to homemaking content, homemaking lectures on there, about topics for me that I'm interested in. So that can be a lot of social political things, but also it is a lot of gardening, a lot of homesteading, how to do home decor, how to do hosting, etc. Also really dive into the world of the culinary arts. There is so many things to explore within food. There's a lot of room for creativity. There's a lot of room for exploration. There's a lot of different even types of cuisine that you can go and explore into. There is never a dull moment, especially then when you add children. Children bring a whole new layer of not being bored, especially when you get into the toddler stage, which is where I am at right now. If you have the time and if you want to, you can always explore into entrepreneurial adventures. If you have a hobby, you can always turn that into a business if you'd like. It just depends on what you want to do. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted. So for someone to say that it lacks stimulation, I have no idea. Number 5 is that homemaking is a one size fits all. A lot of times there is a type to homemaking, baking the bread, wearing the aprons, wearing the dresses. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not for everyone. One's lifestyle might not fit your lifestyle, and that's totally fine. It doesn't need to, and honestly, it probably shouldn't, because every family is unique. Also can fall into routines. A lot of times us women, we love routines. We love looking at other people's routines and what they do, but it might not fit for you. Something that works for me might not fit for you, and that is okay. As homemaking is not one size fits all, don't compare yourself to other homemakers, especially if you're looking at a grandmother who's had 6 children and now she's on to her grandbabies. She's gonna have way more years of experience on you that you don't have quite yet. And so she's more proficient in the art of homemaking. It's easy for us to look at other people and compare ourselves to them. And I don't necessarily think that's always a bad thing. I think there is room to grow. And if we look at other people oh, she's learned how to do this efficiently, you can learn from other people, but at the same time, don't be discouraged if your life doesn't look exactly like someone else's. You have to find your own groove and your own rhythm for your homemaking. No one else can do that for you. That is a you thing. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. And if you want to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, that would greatly be appreciated. And have a very blessed rest of your day, my friends.